Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Redefining Internal Audit. So in my earlier video, I have shared the 3 important tips which everyone should take care while studying, while preparing for the CFE exam. So a lot of student has referred that video and have also cleared the CFE exam in the first attempt itself. So but yes, I've got so many queries related to the examinations related to CFE. So the students are of the view that, sir, you have shared the detail about how to prepare for the exam, but now at the time of exams, at the point when we have to write the exam, what are the different things we should keep in our mind? So that's why I'm preparing this video, so that all of you can get benefit out of it and you can at least take care some of the important points which everyone should take care while writing the exam, right? So friends, first important point is the time management. As we know, the CFE exam is altogether just a second. Yes, so as we all know that this CFE exam is altogether a objective type questions, right? So there will be total 100 questions for and 2 hours will be given, 2 hours each, right? So there will be total 4 papers, we can say. So 4 modules, 4 papers, 100 question is 2 hours each, right? So we can say it means we have 100 questions and we have 120 minutes. So it is around 1.2 minute we have for each question, right? So the first examination tip is related to the time management, right? So when we say about time management, the important point is that you don't need to worry about time at all in the examination, right? So the students who have actually studied their exam, studied their CFE syllabus through the 3 important tips given in my earlier video, most of them are of the view that they were able to complete this exam before the time, right? So the first takeaway here is that don't worry at all. Don't worry at all about this time management. 1.2 minute is more than sufficient to write the exam, and students are of the view that they were in position to answer the question hardly in 30 seconds. So you have more than half a minute spare to revise your question, to go through your questions again, right? So first thing is that nothing to worry about. Don't speeden your activity, don't speeden your attempting the questions just in sake of saving the time. You have sufficient time at all, right? Second point is mark, or we can say flag the questions. So in the examination you will find a click button, the question which you feel that it is you are not that confident to answer that question, so you can mark that question and then you can just simply click it, right? You can simply skip this question and move on to the next question. So in that way you will be able to complete your exam. At least 70 to 80 questions in a sufficient time you will be able to complete, and rest of the questions which you have marked, that you can refer at the end of the exam, right? Next point is, when we are marking the question or flagging the question, my dear friend, just mark any one of the options. For example, you have read the question, you have read the answers, and you are confused between option A and B. So you can simply click A or B. Don't spend time here. Click any one of them. Even you don't have even a single 1% confident about whether A should be there, B, D, C or D. Mark any one and proceed. Why I am saying is that, as number 1, there is no negative marking. That is the good thing. Second is, each option has around 25% possibility of being correct, right? As A, B, C, D 4 answers are there, any one of them will be correct. So there is a 25% probability that your answer is going to be correct, even if you skip or you miss this question. So when you are skipping, I am not asking you to miss this question, but at this point of time, when you just started the exam or you are in the middle of exam and you are finding a question which is difficult to answer, just mark A, B, C, any one of them, and then go forward. And don't forget to flag this question. So once you are able to complete all of the questions, then you can click a button called flagged questions or marked questions, right? So then once you have gone through all of the questions, you can go through those marked questions once again, right? So time is not a big deal, just simply mark the question and go ahead. right? And once you are done with all of the exam, all of the questions, then you can refer those marked questions again, right? Second important point. So this first point is related to the time management. Second point, again this is a part of the time management itself, is that understand the questions properly. Let me just explain you. Like we have this question, right? The question is of 3 lines, for example. We have this question, and then we have option number A, B, C and D, right? So first we have to read the question, and if we are not getting the question exactly, right, don't jump to the options, because there is no need of reading the options until unless the question is clear to us, right? What I mean to say that, for example, you have read the question but you are not clear, then you are reading A, B, C and D, and then again you are reading the questions again. So obviously the time which you have spent in reading these options is of no use. So what I mean to say is that you have to read the questions properly. If you are unable to understand the question, repeat the question, right? Understand the question thoroughly. Once you understood it, then you read the A, B, C and D, right? I'll also give you the idea and the tip around how to read the options also. For example, you read option number A. Read option number A and understand what option number A is saying, and just create a the answer in your mind, whether A is correct or not. If it is correct, you can take in your mind, okay, it is correct, and if it is not correct, you can just skip and you can go to the B. Similarly, you have to attend B, C and D, right? Why I'm saying is that, again, when we are reading option number A, we should be very much clear whether A is sufficient or not, right or not. Then we should go to the B, right? Then we should go to the C, and then we should go to the D. Next point is that one mistake which most of the students do, they read the question, they read the option number A, and according to them option number A is correct. They mark it correct and then they suggest proceed. They skip to read these B, C and D. No. It is strictly no, right? Even if we are 100% sure that option number A is correct, at least have a plain reading to option number B, C and D also. Don't skip the other options. Why I'm saying this? I'm sharing the another tip here, then we'll come back to this point, right? Point number 3, there are few important words which we may skip while reading the question. These words can be, for example, false. The question can be, which of the following is false? Which of the following is not false? Understood? First question we are getting, which of the following is true. Next question is, which of the following is false. Question number 3 is, which of the following is not true, not false. But we have actually missed this word called not here, and we have read the question like which of the following is true. Actually the question was which of the following is not true. Don't forget forget these kind of words. There can be words called except. Which of the following are correct except means you have to choose the option which is not correct. Which of the following is correct except, right? Except word is also very, very important, which we need to. There can be which of the following is incorrect instead of saying which of the following is incorrect. And the very, very tricky question is which of the following is not incorrect. Oh my god, not incorrect, double negative. It means you have to select which of the following is correct, right? Don't forget these kind of words in the examination. Read the question with a full you can say with full focus, right? And don't miss these kind of words. Now moving back to my point, when I mentioned that why it is important to read A, B, C and D even if we are sure that option number A is correct. Now just take this question, example of this question again. We have read the question and we found option number A is correct. right? We found option number A is correct and we skipped it, and later on the question was wrong and your marks was deducted. Now when you came back to home and you just thinking about that question ki whether it was right or not, or for example during the review time, as I mentioned, you will be able to complete 100 questions hardly in 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes. You will be having ample time, 30 to 40 minutes to go through your questions. Now at this point of time you think, okay, let me just go through B, C, D also, and the moment you read B, you found that the option of B is also correct. According to you, option number B is correct, also correct, but you have marked option number A. Then you understood option number C is also correct. Oh my god, A correct, B correct, C correct. It means you have misunderstood the question, because you might have understood which of the following is true, and according to you option number A was true, so that's why you selected it earlier. And now you studied B is also true, C is also true, and D is not true according to you. But actually the question is which of the following is not true. That's why you have missed the word called not. That's why option number A was correct. Actually option number B is also correct, option number C is also correct if you miss the word called not. But when you will read the question again, you will find A, B, C is not correct, are not correct. Actually option number D is correct, right? This is the important one. That's why I mentioned that read questions carefully and read all of the options, right? Even if you are 100% sure. The moment you came to know that option B is also correct, then you will go back to the question whether I am understanding the question properly or not, right? So you may be getting these kind of questions which is not true, not correct, or accept which is of the following is not false, or like, right? So that's why we have to understand all of these things. And one more thing, there can be option number D called for example, A is there, then B, and then C and D, and D can be none of the above, none of the above, or all of the above, all of the above. And the one more tricky option number D can be A and B. Are you getting my point? Option number A is this, option number B, option number C, and option number D, both A and B, right? That's why I mentioned that we have to read the question, right? So guys, these are 3 takeaways from today's video. Number 1, nothing to worry about time. Wherever you are finding non-confident, just mark this question. First, mark A, B, C, D, any one of them. Skip this question, mark for the later, flag it for review at the later time. Second, don't jump to the options directly without understanding the question. Number 3, don't miss the important words which may be of negative nature in the question itself. Don't forget these kind of words, right? So these are some of the tips from my side. Please be careful while writing the exam, and I hope you will find this video useful. In case of any query related to the CFE or CI exam or the study tips, you can be in touch with us or at our WhatsApp number, that is 93113201114. We shall be happy to help you, right? Thank you so much guys. Thank you for sparing your time. Have a good day. Bye bye.